What do you think is like the hardest part about being a petty officer compared to being a non-rate?
I mean, when you're non-rate, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. So I mean, there's no one beneath you. You know, when you mess up, like to your superiors. Like as you go up in the ranks, like you have people on both sides watching you. You know, you got to make sure you're professional at all times. You know, for people beneath you to learn the right things, and you also want to impress the people above you. The hardest part I think was, you know, finding your niche. You know, like you're obviously breaking into people, and like there's a certain way that people do things, so you're expected to do it that same way. But when you find your own way to do it that works just as well and is right, it's hard to get people to like understand that sometimes. And everyone has their own quirks. I'm very OCD, so the way I did chart work was a very meticulous way, and like some people didn't. So it's like getting people to do it the same way, or having to pick up after people and things like that. And then when I was in a division like that, like you work underneath a lot of junior officers and officers who they're very much higher ranking than you, and they think they can do your job better than you. So it was a battle of having to respect someone when you didn't like their ways of working and their styles of being a supervisor and things like that.
So now you're at a land unit. So you spent 3.5 years on a boat as a non-rate. Then you did another about 3 years on another cutter. Now you're at a land unit. How do your responsibilities shift kind of from being on a cutter and then having all that experience and now being at a land unit as a BM3?
Well, I don't think the responsibility load changes or gets any less. I think as a boatswain's mate, your responsibility is always growing no matter where you're going, because I still have all that knowledge. So at any given time, I could be using it where I'm at. Here, I mean, there's just far less people. I went from 135 to 160 people to 20 people. So it's just adjusting to just, being in closer quarters with less people. I don't very much know about, what it is to be at an ant. So it's very new to me. So that's different, very different. The mentality, the lifestyle is just like a 180-degree change. I get to go home every night. I'm not, people are not in my hair constantly. I don't sleep less than 2 feet away from someone at all times. So it's different. It's a good change. It's a change that I waited for a long time. This is the side of the coast that I wanted to experience as well.
When do you feel like, because I know that maybe a lot of people are going to be graduating boot camp, becoming a BM like really soon, because right now, as this video, BMA school is like 3 months. So you could essentially go to a land unit or a boat, spend 3 or 6 months there. The wait is another 3 and 6 months. So you're on the boat for maybe less than a year. You're 19 years old, and now you're a petty officer.
Yeah.
When do you learn like about like that responsibility? Like how does that responsibility and that that much work kind of, how do you learn that?
You learn it as you go. You don't leave BMA school and you automatically know how to handle every responsibility in the Coast Guard that the boatswain has. Every unit's different, every job is different at every unit. So, you learn as you progress at the unit, you pick up the responsibility. No one's expected to get somewhere new and know everything off the bat and how to be, the perfect boatswain mate or boss. So, as long as you have people who above you who, are willing to help you and like teach you, and you're willing to learn and like listen and be patient with yourself and everyone around you, a couple of months later, yeah, you'll understand what this responsibility means. Yeah, there are going to be people that are younger than me, that's the same rank as me, but they could be better BMs than I am, or worse ones than I am. But everything comes from experience. So to me, I have 6 years of experience under my belt, so I feel confident when I do, regardless of my rank. Someone who's 18, 19 years old, just graduating from BMA school after only being in the Coast Guard less than a year, might not have that same confidence. They might have left home, like they're younger, they haven't lived life. So it really just all depends on a person's, where they come from, what they've experienced in life, and, how they want to be as a petty officer.
What's the best advice that you would give to a person that wants to be a boatswain mate? Like I know that maybe a lot of people want to stay away from boats. Maybe a lot of people just want to be on boats. from having this experience, being on the boats and being 6 years in as you know, and being a BM3, you know, what type of career advice would you give to someone that's joining the Coast Guard and wants to be a BM?
It's not an easy job. You know, people make fun of boatswain mates saying that we're dumb, that we, you know, we're deck apes and we don't know what we're doing. Some of them are, but you know what? We are one of the only rates that has the type of responsibility that we do. We're the only rate that can be is a command rate. You know, you look at the other services and boatswain mates don't do that. They don't have that kind of responsibility, at least not as a third class. So my advice to anyone that wants to go boatswain mate is, you know, be ready to take on a large responsibility as a third class petty officer. You know, I mean, captains relied on me, you know, to navigate a cutter through a marina or anchor, and like, hey, BM3 guys here, like, do you think the anchor is set? Like, as I'm depending on you to, like, you know, stop the anchor detail and like leave us here. So yeah, it's a huge responsibility on a large cutter at a station. You know, you're a coxswain, you're driving a boat, you're boarding vessels, you're chasing people. So yeah, it's a huge responsibility, and it's, to me, it's completely worth it. It's a rush. It's fun. It's an experience I can carry with me into the, you know, the civilian world. You know, I can say, hey, like, I was a leader my whole career as a boatswain's mate, and that's our job. We are leaders. We lead other rates, you know, in any mission that we do, and I am enjoying being a leader every day, and just, you know, I enjoy helping people. So being a leader isn't always like telling people what to do, but it's also helping people through their problems in life or in the Coast Guard and things like that. So go for it. If you want to be a BM, like, I'd be more than willing to help you be a BM.
Awesome. So I hope you guys like this video. I'd just like to thank Petty Officer Garcia, BM3, for taking the time out. Leave a comment, you know, thanking him. If you have any questions for him that I can ask, please leave a comment. If there's anything about being on a boat, what it's like being a new BM3 at your first unit, anything like that, leave a comment and I can ask him, or maybe we can even do another video in the future. But if you haven't already, if you got something from this video, hit that like button. If you haven't, subscribe, because I'm going to be posting a lot more Coast Guard related content, interviewing different rates, different missions, education stuff. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful Coast Guard day. Peace out.
Later.